I got to unmute to talk to y'all. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. This is Let's Talk Grief, and I want to welcome you back. And this is the City of Hearts where we deep dive into real conversations, we explore raw emotions, and hold space for the parts of grief that most people don't talk about out loud. This is where love, loss, anger, healing, and truth all gets a seat at the table. And tonight, I am so excited to have this beautiful young lady back with me. This is my sister from another mother, but you all know her as Miss Tracy Wilson, the author. And she is no stranger to Let's Talk Grief. This is her second time back with us, and we got some more talking to do. So let's bring Tracy to the table.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey sis, how you doing?
I am good. How are you?
Awesome. Glad to have you back. Thank you for coming back to speak with us. You know, that last conversation, honey, it got deep. It got deep and it got raw and it wasn't finished, but we're back tonight. So we're going to wrap this conversation up once again. But first, I just want to know how has your day been?
It's been a good day. It's off, got some stuff handled. Just it's been a good day, besides the fact that it's snowing here in Georgia. But whatever.
It's
Last week it was
snowing.
80 degrees. Now it's snowing.
Yeah. So yesterday it was 80 degrees here, and this morning it was snowing. So yeah. Um, but even with the weather, it was just a reminder to take it one moment at a time. One
Yeah.
moment at a time. You never know. Life can pivot and shift in a blink of an eye. So one moment at a time, absolutely.
Um,
So before we get started, I just want to thank you again for joining us tonight. And for those who may not know yet, can you tell us a little about who you are and the heart behind the work that you do?
See, I thought you was gonna do that, but okay, you caught me off guard. Okay, well, my name is Tracy Wilson, for those that don't know. I am a mother who has lost both of her children. My youngest died in 2007 at the age of 14, and my oldest died in 2019 at the age of 27. So, part of my story is deals with matters of the heart and the mind. If you read Love Language of Grief, Volume 1, I am Chapter 7, and it's called The Mother's Love. And it talks about my journey as a mother grieving two children. It is not an easy journey. It has not been an easy journey. But what I can say is God has truly kept me both times, you know. Um, I don't know what else you want me to say, but
No, it ain't about what I want you to say. I want you to speak your heart. This is the table of truth. So thank you so much for sharing um, your strength. I will always admire your strength. You are inspiration to me more than you know. You do know because I tell you all the time when we talk.
all the
So,
time. Mhm. All the time.
so you are
It
not
hasn't
only.
been it hasn't been easy though.
Mm,
People ask me that all the time, Keish. They be like, how do I don't know what I would do if I lost one child, but you buried both of your kids. And I'm just like, I never questioned, like I never got angry with God, first and foremost. One of the things I always ask God both times, even now, is what now? Like what am I supposed to be doing now? And God has just he's kept my mind first and foremost. Like I thank God every day. I know people that have had to be on antidepressants and do other things to cope with the loss of their child or grief in general. That has never been my journey since 2007. I haven't been on any antidepressants. I haven't done any drugs or anything to cope with. Now I've made some, decisions I probably shouldn't have made when I was emotional. We all have, but um I think I'm in a better place now than I was back in 2019, 20, stuff like that. Yeah.
Again, strength like no other.
Yeah.
Strength like no other. Because I can't say that I didn't question God. I have absolutely questioned God. I haven't gotten
Hmm.
mad at God. So that again, strength like no other. So thank you for sharing and being transparent. Um, so you're more than just the author. You're more than just my big sister, but you're also the founder of TNT Wilson Foundation. Can you share what inspired you to create the foundation?
My kids, like, okay, so Terrell, that's the baby. He passed away in 2007, and he had an aorta dissection, which is the main artery to the heart. It tore. And so in that moment, um, I didn't know CPR. I couldn't save my child, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was the driving force, that I didn't want another parent to go through what I went through. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. We had some feedback, but it's gone now.
Oh, okay. Um, so Terrell was the driving force, because in the beginning the foundation was called the TNT. It was called the Terrell Wilson Foundation because my other son was still living. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got CPR trained. I became a CPR instructor. I started reaching out to, I built a nonprofit from the ground up by myself. I just did a lot of reading, did a lot of educating myself, because it is one thing to lose a child, but to not be able to save your child, and didn't know what to do in that moment. That was the driving force behind me starting the foundation. And
Mm-hmm.
then when Taekwon died, so Taekwon, fast forward to 2019, he was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia, and he was hit by a train. And so now I had to restructure to deal with just not just the matters of the heart, but the mind as well, because that was important. So um, I redid everything. I recreated everything. So now it's been done in honor of both of my kids.
Absolutely. I love that. Strength like no other. I should have named this show Strength Like No Other.
Strength like
So,
no other.
yeah,
Yeah.
Strength Like No Other. So, I know that we talk about the loss of Terrell and Taekwon, but I want the people to experience them from your eyes, the joyous moments, the memories, the personality. If you don't mind, can you share, if you feel comfortable, can you share
Mm.
a little about both of your babies?
Oh my goodness. So Terrell was my twin. That if anybody who knows me, they can see that Terrell was my twin. He was my baby, but he was my little uh I sell Mary Kay too. So he was my biggest cheerleader with Mary Kay. Like, we have this book called the Applause magazine, and I'm the type, like, don't read my newspapers or my magazines before I do. And Terrell would make it his business to read the Applause every time it came out, every month before I would. And he'd be like, "Oh well, this person, did this, and this person did that. Oh, I see this. When I'm gonna see Tracy Wilson name in there?" I was like, you got jokes, but don't, but he was always my muse in that. And like, oh, if you know the story behind Mary Kay, the pink Cadillac. So he used to tease his brother, like, I'm gonna be in the Cadillac with mommy, because that's a chick magnet. Boy, you like 10 years old, like, be quiet. You not gonna be in the Cadillac trying to get no chicks off of my car. you know. So those were moments with Terrell that were he was just a sweet baby. He was sweet and caring and loving, and just always wanted to help everybody. And I was so grateful to be blessed to have 14 years with him. That was my baby.
Absolutely.
Uh Now, Taekwon, I had a little more time with him, so I got to experience Taekwon in his adult life. He and I would have, like, he was my baby that could not sing. He was sing off rhythm, and he couldn't dance. And I think I showed you some of the videos where he liked NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and there's a couple of videos of him singing at work and just off key. I was like, that was my off key, tone deaf child, rhythmless nation child. There, he was more of my he was the reason I got the nickname "the most beautiful girl in the world." Because
Oh,
everybody knows that I'm a Prince fan. And
yes.
one year I went to Minnesota, and I did a recording. They let you do a recording with Prince, right? And so it's me and Prince on this track singing The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. And he heard it and he said, Mom, who's that? And I was like, that's me and Prince. And he was like, hey, no way, you know. And I was like, yeah, they took his voice and took my voice and they put it together. And so he was like, what's the name of that song? And I told him the name. So the next day he listened to the whole song and he came in the room and he was like, you know what, Mom? You my most beautiful girl in the world. And so that's how that came out. But he was my rhythmless nation, tone deaf best friend. We got to spend a lot more time together, so we got to experience. I got to see him grow up a little bit. But that was my best friend.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. I love hearing you talk about them and just reflecting back on the memories. So, grief
Mhm.
often looks different depending on the circumstances. Um, you know what? I don't even want to do that question.
Go ahead, you got to. You got
No,
to.
no, I
You
don't.
you got to. You started it, so go ahead. You know, there's no limits off line. Go ahead, say what you got to say.
All right. So, we know that Terrell passed from the undiagnosed heart condition. And of course, we know how Taekwon passed as well. Um, how did processing those two very different loss affect your grief journey? Like, I know we love equally, but every grief journey is different. Um, could you shed a little light on yours with both of them if you feel comfortable? If not, we can move along.
Oh, that's a deep question. I'm sitting here playing with my bracelets. That's so try to process that. So with Terrell died in my arms, right? And his last words were, "Mommy, I'm okay." In essence, he wasn't okay, but that was his way of saying, "God got me," right? And so with Terrell's death, I pretty much benched my grief. I benched it because I still had a 16-year-old that I had to get through losing his brother. We talked about this before. The last conversation that Terrell and Taekwon had was Taekwon said, I wish I was the only child and I wish you die. And then the next day his brother died. So
Mm,
everything grief wise that I had to go through as a mother, I benched it because I had another child that I had to focus on. Um, and so a lot of my grief with Terrell was on the surface, that surface grief, like, I'm okay, but I'm not okay, but I'm okay, that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, you see me in the street, I'm okay. But deep down inside, I wasn't okay. Um, then when Taekwon died, which was more horrific than anything, I had to really grieve both of them. Like, really just go and sit. And, the hardest thing is to sit by yourself.
mm,
Um, and I was surrounded by people. What became my outlet was work, right? So, sun up to sundown, just didn't want to deal, didn't want to face anything. So I had to start all over when Taekwon died because I never really, really fully grieved Terrell. And I think that's the first time I'm really sharing this because when you're dealing with it from a healing perspective, right? It looks different. So for me, I wasn't healed and I had to grieve from like 2019 up until 2024, the loss of both of them together, in addition to my father. So all three, I had to just do all of that at one time. So
yeah.
it has not been an easy journey, but the healed version of Tracy can handle it a little bit better. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I can handle it a little bit more better than I think I did over the years.
I'm glad you
That's just
said
you.
that. I'm glad that you said that because we all know that grief is a never ending journey.
Hmm.
But when we speak about healed, um, from my perspective, it's more so of integrating,
Hmm.
recognizing, being aware of that grief. recognizing
Hmm.
the triggers, recognizing what it is, that feeling, that emotion, but no longer
Hmm.
suppressing it, allowing it to have space, hold space for that moment, but we don't stay in it.
Yeah.
We continue to thrive, you know, after that moment, that said moment. So um when I speak about being healed in my grief, it doesn't mean that my grief is gone.
Hmm.
It just means that I've now integrated how to maneuver through life with
Yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
know, with that experience. So absolutely, I love that. And that is my perspective. But that brings me to the next question for my sister.
Okay.
So
Next question.
yes, so from your experience, what does grief really look like day to day for you?
Mm, that's a loaded question.
Mhm,
So there are good days and there are bad days, right?
mhm,
So the good days look like today. You know what I mean? Like everything is good. You know, I'm out of the bed. Um, I'm focused. You know, there are moments in my grief where I worked myself to exhaustion, depression. Depression was real big, right? And I know what when you're healed, you know what depression looks like. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
absolutely.
So I am a Capricorn, and there's order and then there's chaos, right? So when I'm in that depressive state, everything around me is chaotic, from work, home, everything's a mess. And I recognize it. I'm falling into some type of depression, right? And it may not be just like mourning Taekwon and Terrell or Daddy. It just could be just my own stuff that I'm just internally dealing with.
Mhm,
So um it comes in waves. There's moments where I go months at a time and I'm fine, right? And then because I don't get a break. So like February is Terrell's birthday, April is the month Taekwon died. June June is Taekwon's birthday. July is the month my father died. September is the month Taekwon. You know what I mean? So it's not a
mhm,
and April is the month that my father's birthday and my son died, you know?
mhm.
So I don't really get a break, but when I have those moments where I have found pockets of joy, I embrace them because there was a time when, I couldn't if I felt like I was being too happy, I'd be like, oh my God, how can I be so happy when my kids are, you know,
Survivors.
my kids are survivor's guilt. So
Mm,
survivor's guilt
yeah,
is and I, it's a you know what, I don't want to cuss, but it's a you know what, because
right.
I went through that for a whole season. Like I'm laughing and I'm smiling and my babies are gone, and then I just kind of reverted in. And then once I really did the healing and process all of that, God said it's okay to laugh, it's okay to breathe.
Mhm.
Your story is going to show somebody it's okay that it may take some time to get to that point, but you'll get there eventually. But you got
Yeah,
to want to get there.
you gotta want to get there.
You got to
Okay,
want to get there.
you talked about some great things, valuable things, that survivors guilt. And newsflash on this show, this is raw. So if that
Hmm.
cuss word comes up, let it come out. But
Girl,
survivor's guilt is a real thing. It is a
Yeah.
real thing. I've experienced survivor's guilt, like you know, with the grief. I don't feel as if I get a break.
Right.
Um, you know, losing my brother, all the people that I've lost,
Yeah.
it's like bam, birthdays, death days, man. So it's like we find pockets of
Hmm.
joy. So I could
Hmm.
completely resonate with you on that. So I don't want to just focus on the grief because out of the mouth of Tracy, there has been some healing that has taken place. And so I want to dive into the healing. At what point did you begin to realize that your pain could be transformed into purpose?
It started with Terrell, right? It started with the birth of the Terrell Wilson Foundation, but I didn't know, I wasn't ready. I should say that.
Mhm.
Um, I did the work, but I couldn't speak about my baby without crying, right? So um I just kept going, kept doing the work, kept, what's that saying? Doing so much but doing so little, doing too much but not doing, you everywhere but you're not really where you're supposed to be at.
Mhm.
Um my faith never wavered. And one day I had like a real honest cry out to God. And I said, I want to be able to reach someone, my story reach someone and help them. Um, but how can I help someone if I'm not helping myself? Right.
Mhm.
And I sat with that for a while. And then when Taekwon died, so it was like my babies, my world, the two babies that I gave birth to, there are no other children, there's no grandchildren. I had to like really make a decision, right? And the decision was, Tracy, you got to help somebody else. You got to tell your story. You got to turn your pain into purpose, because not too many people can go through what I've gone through and survive, right?
Mhm.
Everybody was very worried about me, especially when Taekwon died, because you know that the broken heart, when somebody dies, then a lot of people were really, 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 really worried that either A, I was going to take my own life, right? That was never an option. Or B, I was going to die because we wasn't going to go there either way. So, I once again, I came back to that conversation with God and I said, okay, God, what do I need to do? And he put me in contact with you. He opened doors for me more. Um, I felt the raw emotions. Like I really got honest with my grief, like
Mhm.
really, really, really tearing off the layers. Like, I went through the mother's guilt. Did I miss something? I still go through that every now and again. Um, Taekwon, did I miss the signs? Was there signs of him being diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia? What did I miss? So I had to have like real honest conversations, candid conversations with God and candid conversations with myself that pivot me into when pain meets power. Like this pain is really powerful.
Yes.
Beyond, we are not supposed to bury our children. Children are supposed to bury their parents, right?
Mhm.
So on this journey, I've met so many parents that are stuck. 25 years ago, they lost their child. They still live in the same house. The kids' room is still the same, XYZ. That has never been my story. And I listen to these stories and I listen to these parents and I'm like, damn, am I a bad parent? Because that's not, you know, but everybody grieves, like you say, everybody grieves differently.
Yes.
So it takes real honest, candid conversations, Keisha, with myself. Like I can't be out here talking about healing if I'm not healed myself. To thy own
Absolutely.
self be true. I can't tell you, oh girl, it's gonna be okay. And and everything's good, when I'm not doing the work myself. So when
Absolutely.
you do the work, again, I keep going back to that. You gotta want to do the work.
And let's be real about it. Doing the work,
And
that's
easy. It's not easy. It
mm-mm,
is not easy.
mm-mm.
It's not easy.
Absolutely. It's times where I wanted to go check myself
Yeah.
into somebody's facility because I knew I was losing it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. You have to peel back them layers, and it's not a one day fix all.
And
It's
you got to have a good support system, right? Because a lot of my grief I went through by myself, right? I have support. I have friends. I have people on this journey that but I'm talking about There was no relationship. There was nobody. It was me and my feelings and God,
Mm,
right? And it was me and my anger. It was me and, and people empathize with you, but they don't know what to say.
yeah,
Oh, I can empathize with you. How can you empathize with me when your daughter or your son sitting at the table with you for Thanksgiving? I got two seats empty. You don't understand that. You don't
mm,
get that, right? So I had to check myself on that too, because I used to cuss people out. Like, don't tell me you know how I feel when your kid's still here. You don't know how I feel.
yeah.
You could
That-
never know how I feel until you saw your child in the ground. You can't, you
and
know.
that's why I say community is essential. I say that now because I didn't have that support
Mm-hmm.
system. I didn't have that
Mm-hmm.
community. So your your thoughts and emotions and the higher power, the most high, God,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what got me through. And
Yep.
it still gets me through. Cause I
Yep.
have my moments where I notice and I become aware of the depression or the survivor's guilt or, just not wanting to move forward. And I love that you spoke on how you made the choice, your free
Mm-hmm.
will, because free will matters. You made the choice to say, I'm not going to stay stuck here. I'm going to keep living. I don't know how, but God, you're going to see me through this.
Yes.
You made the
Yes.
choice. You took your free will and you made a conscious decision to say, no, my grief is not going to take me out of here. And as for me, and
Still
I
making
can resonate with
decisions.
that.
Still
Yes.
making conscious decisions,
Yes.
because I have to. I have to, like, where I work at. We the hotel, we have a lot of sporting events, and so I see a lot of kids, right, in
Mm-hmm.
football, and sometimes it's a trigger, right, and I have to check myself. I have to check my emotions, and I have to go hide for a second. And a lot of times I don't say that, because you know I got stuff to do. I can't be out here falling apart because of these kids coming to play baseball and stuff like that. And the kids love me. We have a good time, but there are moments when it's hard. And I recognize it, because before I couldn't recognize it. I would just be like, moody and angry. But now, because I'm in a different headspace, I recognize what that is. Tracy, you having a little moment, and it's okay to have those. You struggling a little bit. Go walk away. Go, take a beat and just go sit down somewhere. And there are times when you can physically see it. And there are people that don't ask questions at work. I just stand, like, with my back turned, and I just be like, give me a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Let me pull it together. You need something? You need me to call somebody? No, I don't need you to call
Just
nobody.
give
I'm
me a
good. Give
moment.
me 1 minute,
Yeah.
and I'm fine. And then when I go back out, I'm all right. I'm all
Yeah.
right. So it's still a conscious decision
And
every
it
day.
comes in waves every day. I,
Mm-hmm.
yes, sis, I know that there has to be a lot. But you have to navigate this journey every single day,
Every
you
day.
know, every
Every day.
single day.
And then
Um,
you also don't want to, especially if you're in a relationship, right? And you don't want to infringe that on your relationship, or just in general with your friendships.
mhm,
I'm very conscious of that. I don't want to damper someone else's mood because of my own stuff. But
mhm,
what I will say is, like, when you got the right support system, when you're being loved correctly, none of that matters. They're going to be like, what's up? What you need? What do you need from me? And
mhm,
that makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? I know when you go through, what's up? What you need from me? What you do? I'm good, sis. I'm good, but you got to have those people that'll check on you and be like, what's
mhm.
up? What you need? What you need from me? You need me to just sit on the phone with you? You need me to, what you need?
And I
So
have
that wasn't
to
always the plate. The the that wasn't always the thing for me. That wasn't always what happened in this journey. And
yeah,
so now things look differently. That it's easier.
yeah, and I have to say that you are, not only did, it was divine aligned for us to connect because you recognize it in me and you will come to
Mm-hmm.
me and be like, sis, what you going through, what you need was, and I still, because it's it's not second nature to me because I didn't have it. It's hard
Mhm.
for me to receive that and just be
Right.
like, sis, this, and that going. And I instantly, I'm like, okay, I'm all good. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. And you're like,
Mhm.
no, you ain't, but yeah, you'll tell me, you know. And before we get out the phone, I'm telling you everything, you know.
Yep. Yep.
But you know, it's still a work in progress. Like I'll tell anybody growing, healing, transforming,
Mhm.
evolving. How do you eat
It's a
an
lot.
elephant?
It's a
One
lot.
bite at a time,
Yeah.
one
It's a
moment at a
lot.
time, one stride at a time. It's
Mhm.
not a end all, be all, fix all with it. So, enough about that because I didn't come here for a therapy session. Look.
First of all, I wasn't trying to therapy you, but you know how we do. I wasn't trying to
I
shrink you just now, but okay.
but I would say that, you know, next question. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
What are some ways that the foundation supports families or raises awareness? The TNT Wilson Foundation.
Oh God. So we do like heart screens. We do little seminars that we go have mental health, seminars as well. And I'm trying to do one together. How we go in the community, well, I go in the community. I get a lot of phone calls for parents that have lost children. Tracy, you should reach out to this parent. You should reach out to this. I don't have a problem doing that, right? And so when my team calls me and it doesn't just be in Georgia, it'd be different places. And so my first question is, has that parent buried that child yet? And a lot of times it's no, it just happened. It's just this, that, fourth, and the third. And I tell them I don't want to speak to them right now until they have seen that child in the casket, until they have laid that child to rest. They are not in a position to talk. And when I say that, because when it happened to me both times, I didn't want to talk. Even grief in general, you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk to
You
nobody.
don't.
So to embark somebody with, hey, I understand how you feel, da 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 da. They don't want to hear that right now because they're still in the denial phases of their grief. Like, so I
Let's talk
always tell them,
about that before you move forward, sis. I'm sorry to
okay,
cut you out, but let's talk about that because I
let's
think
go.
it is very critical for society as a whole to understand that
Hmm.
because I know it's done with good intention,
Yeah,
but it does just the opposite of what the intention is imposing.
yeah.
God makes no mistakes. I know how you feel. It will get better in time. Those cliche statements, I can go on and on and on. Those
Hmm.
cliche statements, they do more harm than they do good.
They do. They do. They do. So with Terrell, right?
Thank you for stopping
Terrell's
by, Danny.
Terrell's um Terrell's funeral was public.
Mhm.
The news, it was all over the news. It was every news channel here in Georgia. I don't know how that happened. But it was very public. Like, you would have thought Terrell was a celebrity the way his funeral, the attention that his funeral got, or his story got.
Mhm.
And girl, I did not want to talk. I did not want to be on no TV. I was not, I had to pull it together many occasions to just talk. I wanted to just sit still, right? And I have a big family. So then the family comes, and then all the kids and everybody wanted, just be in my house, because they wanted to feel some kind of connection to Terrell. And at the time, there was 3 levels to the house. So I had kids in the basement. Kids, it was so funny that, and this was funny though, because Taekwon was going around counting all these kids in the house, and he was like, "Mommy, it's way too many kids in this house. It's gonna be a fire in here. It's too many kids." I was like, Taekwon, just, but it was so many kids. I didn't like you said, oh, it's going to get better. You're going to get through this. Are you what? My baby was 14. There's no way you're going to tell me it's going to get better. How you know? your 14-year-old, yeah, she's still right there, or he's still right there, So again, like, be mindful of like somebody's grief. Like, they don't want to talk. They just lost the love of their life, or grandma or auntie or son. People don't want to talk, and a lot of times they force their way in. Like, they're gonna make you talk and
Mm-hmm.
make you open up about stuff that you really just don't want to do. And for me, I did it twice. Like, the second time, I was like, I really don't want to talk to nobody, to the point where my friends took my phone and was like, I'm speaking for her. She don't want to deal with. I mean, my only other living child. First of all, my only other living child, he was 27. It was 24 hours before I found out he was gone. And to add insult to injury, he was hit by a train. I didn't want to talk to nobody. The trains was making me crazy. The noise was making me crazy. I just didn't want to deal. And then on top of that, I was in the middle of, remember, sending Kate into Minnesota. So I
Mm-hmm.
had all of that to process. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And a lot of people understood that, but then a lot of people didn't. They kept trying to make me talk. And then when I snapped, oh, she's grieving. Don't take it personal. Well, if you would have respected my wishes and let me talk to you when I'm ready, then we wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I just wanted you to touch on that because people don't understand how sensitive that is. Read the room, read the
yeah,
room, read the
yeah,
room, read the
yeah.
room. I remember leaving my own house because of that. Read the room,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, so back to, how your foundation supports families and raises awareness. I'm sorry for interrupting that, but I felt that that was critical. We touched on that.
Yeah, we touched on that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I do a lot of communities. I think for me now is where God is leading me is like dealing with grieving parents, right? Not just grieving, just grieving parents. So lately, I've been getting a lot of calls about going to like some of the support groups to share my story and different things like that. But I have to be careful with that because that can trigger me,
Mhm.
and I don't want to be triggered in a way where I can't, what I mean, like revert back to those times when they passed away. So I have to be careful with projects I take on and with places I speak at because, you know, I gotta safeguard my own sanity and my own healing process. So, we do a lot of outreach, we do a lot of community service. We got a bill passed in 2024,
Yeah.
for the HB 874 bill passed that has now here in Georgia, every school, middle school, grammar school, high school, college, daycare centers, they all have working AEDs in e-school. I was a part of that because of Terrell. So that was huge back in
Mhm.
2024. That actually
Yeah.
the bill was passed this oh God, this today 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
super happy
remember.
about that. I'm super, super, super happy about that. Totally happy
Wait,
about
so
that.
has it been 2 years since we did our last show?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Because as a matter of fact, yesterday was the anniversary of the first love language of grief that came out this month,
Yes.
like yesterday. So
Yes.
yesterday, the second volume came out, and
Mhm.
2 years ago, the first
The
volume
first
came out.
one
So
came
happy
out.
anniversary!
Happy anniversary, Love Language of Grief, Volume 1 and 2,
And
March
two.
15th.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
2 years
Yep.
later, who thought we would be doing that journey again? But hey,
2 years later.
divine
2 years
alignment.
later. Yeah.
Absolutely. So speaking of Love Language of Grief, Volume 1 and Volume 2, you are also a contributing author. What made you decide to share your story publicly?
It was time. It
Yeah.
was time. Um, it was time. And it was therapeutic to write how I was feeling. The first one was my mother's love, so it touched on the entire journey. It touched on, and then the second one, not to tell too much, go out there and get the second volume, Love
Yeah.
Language of Grief, Volume 2. Um, it's my letters to the boys. So it was just time to, I can't say release it, but to let go of some of the emotions that I was feeling.
Yes.
Um, and it was alignment. It was when it was brought to me, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
let's do it. Let's do it. And then when you
I'll
asked
never
about the
forget our first conversation. I was sitting
right.
in front of my daughter's high school,
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to go into the building, and we had our conversation, our first introduction with
Mm-hmm.
each other. And I didn't make it into the building.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make
Yeah.
it into the building. We talked, and eventually the teacher came out to me, so that was good. But
Yeah.
we instantly connected. We
Mm-hmm.
instantly connected, and here it is 2 years later, 2 books later, we're
Two
still
books later.
connected. So I love it.
And you did my forward for the new one that's
I
coming
did
out
the
next week.
yes, so I wanted to go into
Yeah.
that too when Pain Meets Power. It comes out March 25th. Is that correct?
Yep.
March 25th. And I had the honor of writing the forward for her book. So I was so honored, and is I've had the privilege of reading it too. So y'all got to buy the book because we ain't finna tell y'all nothing about that. That was gonna hit bestseller, New York Times bestseller. It is. Yeah,
Yes, from your mouth to God's ears, honey. Because that one,
yeah,
as a writer, you write stuff and then you go back and you read it and you like, I don't think it was deep enough, or I don't think it was, So when Pain Meets Power started literally in 2019, probably a
mhm,
little bit before then, but I was started and then I was stopped. I was started, and I remember I got to my father's chapter and I had writer's block for like 6 months. I ain't want to go no further. I ain't want to do it. And then
mhm.
one day, after talking to you about Love Language of Grief too, I just, I just started flowing. It was just like done. I was like, okay, so I took some things and I added some things. I took some things out, and then I was like, no, I don't want to curve none of this. I want to go ahead and just get this out. And um, so it's finally hitting the stands March 25th. On
Yeah.
my nephew's birthday too. That's my nephew Billy's birthday.
Well,
He
yes,
thinks,
I know he
yeah.
excited. He like, yep, your book coming out on my birthday. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
He said
writing process,
he said that's pretty dope, Auntie. I was like, yeah, yeah.
the writing process though is so therapeutic. Like it's literally releasing a ton of emotions on paper.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it takes me a minute to go back and read my work after I do
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, but when I go back to it, I realize that I can read it without feeling those emotions. I know that I've healed in that journey. Cause man, and I will tell you this here. I told you be raw with your work because I started when I first started, I was diluting my work, worrying about what everyone else may think or how it
Mm-hmm.
will make other people feel. But that's not being authentically me. That's not walking in my truth. So now, when you read my work, you'll know, you can tell. If you get all my books, you can tell where I started to be
Yep.
100% authentically me
Yep.
because it's raw now, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I don't hold back. But
Yeah.
it's not it's not for the world, it's for me. That
Yeah.
rawness, that realness,
Yeah.
that authenticity. But also I know that my realness, my rawness, my authenticity is going to help who it needs to hit, who it needs to help.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a win-win. So
That's crazy because, like you said, writing. I so was and we laugh about this. So I finished the letters to Terrell,
mhm,
finished with Pay Meets Power, and wrote a little book for Jasheen all in like one
Yeah.
week. You was like, you was like, wait a minute, you on the road, sis. And I was like, oh my God. And I laugh at that now because I literally finished 3 books in
And,
1 week.
and I remember
Right.
when I was pulling your nails, trying to get you to finish When Pain Meets Power.
Right. Like, go ahead, girl, finish it. And I was like, no, but it was I was on a roll. Like I did
Mhm.
like one little thing and I was like, okay, I finished that and I sent it to you. And I was like, okay, so now here we go. And then I was like, sis, I finished. You was like, what? I was like, it's done. I sent it to you. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna send you the other one too because I need to retweak it again. And you was like,
Mhm.
it's perfect. It's perfect. I was like, oh, so that was
Mhm.
interesting because when you get focused, there's this the sky is the limit, especially as a writer, especially it's easy. I'm like, okay, what's the next project? What are we doing next?
Man, yeah. So I actually have a project coming out at the end of March as well. No, I haven't even been promoted. It's called Her.
Hmm.
It's also an anthology, and I'm super excited about this one as well because I was raw, like, but it made me write about me,
Right,
me being me. So it required me to reflect on my accomplishments because that's something I don't do. I
right.
accomplish and I don't celebrate myself within my accomplishments. Not because okay, maybe I didn't feel I don't think it was about my worth. Look at me. I'm over here healing on camera. Look,
Okay,
I'm over here peeling the layers
let's
on
do
camera.
it.
But
Let's go.
I felt I don't know. It's just once I complete a project, I look for the impact that it's going to give the world, but I
Hmm.
don't think about what it took for me to complete that project.
Hmm.
So this project, Her, actually made me reflect on my healing journey, where I've come from, and where I am now. And I have to say,
Becoming.
I am her.
Go ahead, girl.
I am her.
You
And
are
so
her.
now I'm embodying her because I deserve
Hmm.
to celebrate myself. Ain't nobody gonna celebrate Keisha like Keisha,
Right.
and I
I
have
love
come
that.
a long way.
I
I've
love that.
come a long way. I
Love
remember
that.
just a few years ago when I couldn't even go in the grocery store without having an anxiety attack. You
Yeah.
know, here I
Yeah.
am now. I'm out like, hey, how y'all doing? Passing out business cards, and
Yeah.
so I've
Yeah.
come a long way, and now it's time for me to respect that journey, respect my journey, respect my power, respect
Yeah,
my walk.
you are becoming. So
I
that's a beautiful
am.
thing. You you
Yes.
you are, I always say um potential is for someone who's on their way. You have arrived. You know what I'm saying? And I have to take that for myself too. Like, I say it all the time. I'm dope as fuck in real life. Like, for real, like really, really, like really, when you're her, you're that
Yeah.
girl, Um, and you don't downplay yourself, don't water yourself down because we spent a lot of time doing that years ago.
Mhm.
Like we're not downplaying ourselves in 2026. We're not taking those shorts. We're not doing none of that stuff. So
Absolutely
that
not.
that's powerful to say because I'll be like, no, it's okay. I'm gonna just, whatever. Now I'm like,
Mhm.
nah, sugar. I'm that girl. I'm her.
That girl,
So
yes. Honor my journey. Respect that walk. Yes.
yeah, put some
So
put some put some respect on my name. How about that?
period. Period. I know that we worked together on 2 projects, 3
Right.
now, because I'm gonna count
Yeah.
Me Pay Me. So I wrote the forward.
Right. 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 Hey.
But I do hope that we can work together again on some more projects. I really feel like we will. Um
I'm
and I'm
supposed to interview you on your show. So remember, that's
oh
coming up too.
yes.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. I am interviewing you on your show. Y'all heard it first.
Yes.
Tracy Wilson is interviewing Miss Lakeisha LaShawn on her show. Okay, so get ready, get
Yes.
ready, get ready.
So I tell people know snippets of my story.
Mm-hmm.
People know more about. They know an overview of my story.
Mm-hmm.
I never really dive deep into details of my story.
Oh,
And
but
the
you are.
only time that I really share is on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking the challenge,
Yeah.
and my sister is going to interview me.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it on my show,
Yes,
talking with Tracy. How
yes,
about that?
yes.
Yep.
You get
Let's
all
go.
you get the first peek. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna tell my story in its entirety. I'm gonna be real raw, transparent,
Mm-hmm.
authentic, and after that, if y'all don't see me on camera for about a week, let me be. Let
Let her be, because
me
she's not gonna
be. I'll come
let
back
her be.
around. Let me be.
She'll
So
circle back.
I'll circle back. Absolutely. So I want to ask a few more questions before we get out of here, Tracy. I know today's been a long day. From your perspective, what are some things people say to grieving parents that are unintentionally hurtful? We've already discussed that. So let me keep scrolling. If a parent listening tonight is walking through the loss of a child, what would you want them to know?
Oh, um, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, but you gotta want to get there. That's all I can say. Yeah,
Free
that's all
will,
I can. I because, huh?
free will, choice.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta wanna. There is light. I mean, um, it does get easier, but it gets easier with the work. Um, and go easy on yourself. It's not a race on how you get to the next part of your grief journey. Go easy on yourself. I had to tell somebody that last week. Like, go easy on yourself. Feel what you need to feel, and don't pay nobody no attention to feel how you need to feel, and don't worry about what this person or this person got to say. It's your journey. Um, so yeah, it's not a race. It's not a sprint. Um, those 5 stages of grief, you're going to circle back to them several times
Or you
before
go
you
because they not
before
linear.
you get, yeah, that anger, that bargaining, denial, depression, and acceptance. It's not in that order, but you're gonna go through all of them several times in your grief journey. Just go easy on yourself. You
Yeah.
know, my youngest died in 2007, and I still go through. I don't think I did the bargaining. I never said, God, why me? Why you take, you know what I mean? I think what I said was like, I don't even remember. I think I might have did 4 out of the 5 stages of grief, because bargaining is something like, oh, why would you do this? Or would you take me instead of this? You know what I mean? Like, that's never been my thing. But I went through anger, I went through depression, I went through denial. I went through denial a lot. But um just go easy on yourself. I keep circling back to that. Go easy on yourself, because it's
Yeah.
already hard. And so you trying to get to another place, just feel what you need to feel and go through all emotions.
Yeah, and I have to say that, everyone referenced the five main stages of grief, but there are
Mm-hmm.
totally more.
Yep.
And for me, it was 7 stages of grief
7.
that
Yep.
I went through. But also, I would say, even with my grief coaching,
Mm-hmm.
you can refer someone, but they have to make that conscious decision to go on that journey. If they're not open to the healing, if that's not their choice to go through the healing process, I can't work with them because there has to be your choice to
Mm-hmm.
want to start somewhere. You know,
Mm-hmm.
healing is a never ending journey, but you have
No.
to start somewhere because
Want to start
stress
somewhere.
is a silent killer. Grief is a silent killer too.
Mm-hmm.
I almost took your
You're
sister
right.
clean out of here, you
You're
know.
right.
But yeah.
You're right.
Um,
Mm.
when people hear Taekwon and Terrell's name, what do you hope that they remember about them?
Um, when I hear the stories, when people still talk about them, um, they were happy kids and young, and Taekwon was a young man. So that's like the driving force for me, because my kids would want nothing else in the world for me but to be happy, right? So when I hear stories about Terrell and Taekwon, it's always happy stuff. It's always joking stuff. So it's never been something where it was bad or anything. Um, and they were loved. So the love that people talk about them, that comes from, the foundation, which is me grooming them to be men, and grooming them to be, to respect others, and teaching them, and just loving on them, like me loving on them poured into their lives as they loved onto other people.
Mhm.
So when I hear stories about Taekwon and Terrell, it's always happy stuff. So I can say that makes me smile.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, where can we connect people with you so that they can
Mm.
support the TNT Wilson Foundation and
So
buy
the
your books?
website, I'm booked and busy, girl. I'm oh, hold on. The thing went out. I'm booked and busy. So the TNT Wilson Foundation website is actually under construction. But I do have a Facebook page, Tracy Wilson. I do have a Facebook group page called TNT Wilson Foundation, a YouTube channel that is Talking with Tracy. Like and share and subscribe to that. I am on Instagram. Oh God, Jersey Doll 50 underscore. I have a TikTok page. I'm on Facebook. So if you're friends with Keisha, more than likely you'll see me because I'm always on her timeline as well.
Yes.
If you want more information directly about the foundation, you can email me at and the word and T Wilson Foundation at gmail.com. So TNT Wilson Foundation at gmail.com.
All right. Well, I so appreciate you for coming and spend this evening with me, sis. And, just having this conversation. It
So,
is definitely needed. It's definitely needed for people to see us being transparent, open, and honest.
mhm,
Um,
that's right.
girl, I can go into a tangent about this, but I'm not even gonna go there
I wish
tonight.
you go ahead. I wish you just go ahead and do it. I don't even know why you
Mhm.
playing. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
No. Well, that means we have a part three. And also, just look out. Tracy will be posting about the interview she will do with me. I'm excited to finally
No.
share my story publicly. Outside of writing, I have to I've been called. God been calling me to
Mm-hmm.
speak more. Writing has been my journey, but writing
Mm-hmm.
also still allowed me to stay under the radar.
Yeah.
And so now I'm being called to speak more,
To be seen.
to
You
be
need to be
seen,
seen. You need to be
to speak,
seen.
speak more, right? And so, of course,
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable territory for me because it's out of the norm, but I'm
Mhm.
here. I'm here for it. I'm here to be obedient. So,
Let's go. Let's
yes.
go. And
So,
when Pain Meets Power comes out on it hits the stands March 25th.
yes.
That's gonna be that's
Check
oof.
it out. I'm so excited for you. Well,
I am too.
congratulations on all of your
Mm,
endeavors because you deserve
thank
it.
you.
And
Oh,
I'm sure when you stand in those rooms to get ready to speak, I don't know, I feel like I feel called to tell you this. Um, yes, you can be cautious of where you go to speak, but when you stand to speak in front of those people, Taquan and Tyrell will be standing beside you, so you will not be alone. And they
mm-hmm.
are smiling. They will be smiling and cheering you on. So you just remember that. They're happy.
Yeah.
They're excited for their mama.
Oh, yeah. Who knows? You might have an invite some kind of way somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
Well, I
see.
love to travel, so I'll take it.
So yeah, it's a lot of happiness now. There's a
Yeah,
lot of happiness in my life, and I'm grateful for where I am now because it's been a hell of a journey to
yeah,
get to where I am today. So I won't take that for granted. It's
absolutely.
it.
You don't look
Yeah.
like what you've been through.
Lord, I thank you. I don't look like what I've been through.
You don't look
Yes,
like what
God,
you've
I
been through.
don't. I don't. I don't.
Yes.
Yeah. I came a long way from the first interview that we did to where I am now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
like 2 years ago and where I am now is totally different. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy that I'm still here to witness the journey. Absolutely. Once again, we would like to say happy anniversary to Love Language of
Our
Grief,
language
Volume
agree.
1,
Yep.
and
And two.
welcome Volume 2, to the family because that was divine aligned.
Yeah.
2
It
years
came out.
later.
Yeah, 2 years later. It came
2
out
years
last
later.
year on the 15th. I mean, 2 years ago on the 15th. I seen it popped up on my thing. I was like, oh, that's kind of dope.
It
Yeah.
popped up
So,
in my memories today, but you want to know a secret? I
what?
didn't realize it. I did not make the correlation until today when it popped up in my memories.
Yep.
I said something, but hey. So, sis, on Let's Talk Grief, we always like to leave our listeners with hope. What message of hope would you like to give to someone who feels like their grief is too heavy to carry?
I think I already did that. I need those
You
that are
gave it to
listening
mothers.
to
You gave
to
it to
to go
mothers.
easy on yourself.
Yeah.
Um, take a deep breath and find those pockets of joy when you can. And if you can't find those pockets of joy, that's okay too. But go easy on yourself. That's all I keep hearing is go easy on yourself.
Yep. Have
It's not a
grace.
it's not a race to the finish line. It's not a sprint. It's
Yeah.
not a it's not a competition. It's not a just go easy on yourself.
Yes. Give yourself grace. Absolutely.
Give yourself grace. Yep.
Yeah. So
Give yourself grace.
Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. If you want to drive down from Atlanta, you sure can. But April the 6th, I will be hosting my first sibling support group. It's called the Still Sibling Circle, and so this is the first in-person meeting, and I'm super excited about it. April the 6th, because after doing so much research throughout my area, there's no groups out there or no support systems for siblings who are grieving. Of course, due to legal technicalities, I'm starting with adults 18 years and older. Um, but I'm praying to see it flourish into much more. I have so many ideas to put together just to build a community of support because that community of support is essential. So if you are available to come out, um, if you've grieving your sister, your brother, your siblings, and you've been on this journey by yourself, or even if you have community and you want to come out and encourage someone else, how you have been able to navigate your grief journey, April the 6th, you can register on my page at the Still Sibling Circle. And so I would look forward to seeing you all. I look forward to having you there. I won't be feeding you a full course meal, but we will have refreshments. So come on out.
And it's funny that you said that because probably in April, I have to work out the dates. I am going to interview someone, and it's going to be, the title is Grief from a Child's Perspective.
Mm, wow.
Right. And you know part of that journey. And so he is going to be my first young man uh that is dealing with grief from a child's perspective.
Mm,
He's near and dear to my heart, and um we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. And like, it's weird that you said that, because um Taekwondo didn't have a circle of people to go to. I mean, there was compassionate friends, but that was more for the adults. It wasn't really geared towards the children. You know,
mhm.
they did have support groups for siblings and stuff like that. So to do that, Keisha, that's amazing. I think that's amazing. But um, I'm gonna do that. He is going to be my first guest. As far as it's going to be dealing with grief from a child's perspective, from a teenage perspective, or from a child's perspective.
Yes.
So
I
if you
love
know
that.
someone, yeah, that's gonna, yeah, we're gonna, I'm actually gonna call you later, and we're gonna talk about how to set that up. And I mean, I know how to do it. Like, I could do it this way, but
Mhm.
and he's ready. Believe me, he did his homework. I asked him to, look up what the 5 stages of grief was, and he looked it up, and he gave me his definition. He gave himself 100. He graded his own. He gave himself 100. So that he and I have a really special bond, and so we're gonna do that
I
probably
love
before I go
that
to the
because
reunion.
people
Yeah.
don't consider the grief of children as much. They feel
Mm-hmm.
like children are resilient, which they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
but they have emotions too. They need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to express themselves. They need to have someone hold that space for them too. So I absolutely love that. With losing my brother and seeing how close my niece is to her siblings, like that's the air
Mm-hmm.
that she breathes. And I have to honor that because
Mm-hmm.
her connection with her siblings is like the connection I had with her dad. Like
Mm-hmm.
knock out,
Mm-hmm.
scream out, we might fight, whatever, you'll be mad at each other. But when it's all said and done,
Right.
that was my survival partner. That was my everything. Like my family couldn't even it took years for my family to stop saying our names connected. Like
Yeah.
they couldn't even separate our names.
Yeah.
So I love that. I'm excited, so I'm gonna be tuned in to that because
That's
that's
that. That's
something
going.
that needs to
That's
be
why.
addressed.
And it's been
Yeah.
in the making. It was brewing for a while, because I said, we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a podcast, with Jasheen. And those who don't know who Jasheen is, that is the love of my life, right?
Mhm.
And he said no. He said, me and you gonna do a podcast. And I said, on what? Like, what are you and I gonna talk about? And he said, grief. And it took me, like, I was driving. I was like, oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I said, so your first assignment is to tell me about the 5 stages of grief. And he did. And he wrote it down. And what he didn't understand the bargaining part, but he understood the anger, the denial, the depression, and the acceptance, right?
Yes.
And he graded it, gave himself 100. I'm gonna send you a picture of, he gave himself 100. It's so funny. So yeah, he's gonna be my first guest.
I love that. And once I do a little deeper into the laws and the things that I have to get in line to deal with children, um,
Mm-hmm.
I do eventually want to incorporate children because grief is grief.
It's
Grief
grief.
doesn't know any
Grief
age.
is grief.
Grief doesn't
Grief is
know
grief.
any gender. Grief is
Nope.
grief. And so
Nope.
I have this vision that was given to me, and it was actually given to me 2 years ago. And so I've been
Mm-hmm.
navigating up until this point. And so you can plan all you want, but when God say just do it, you got to do
Just
it.
do
And
it. Just
so,
do it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. In a
do it,
season
do
of,
it, just do it.
it's time for you to hear what God is saying to you. Cause
Yeah.
there's some things that you're not, and I'm not gonna go into this with you today,
Mhm.
but you know, we hard headed. And
Mhm.
when God speaks, we gotta listen. Because
Oh,
time
I
is of
know.
the essence. There are souls that need to be saved. There are things that need to be done. So get your heart, what, into gear and let's do it.
Baby, you know I'm hard headed and stubborn, baby. God be like, didn't I say?
Right. Right. That's
And I
right.
know, look,
That's right.
God created me, so God knows what's up. Like I'm very stubborn,
Right.
I'm very hard headed. I might sit on
Right.
some things, but when God say move, I have to go ahead and move. I'm learning to just
Why
do it.
why
Just
is
do it.
our time together always over an hour? It can never just be 35 minutes, 45 minutes. It is always over an hour with us. It don't
It's
make no sense.
always, but hey, it is what it is. So I'm not gonna hold
Hmm.
you longer because I know that, today's been a busy day. It's been a day for me as well. And so I need to wind down and I know that you do too. But we will definitely be connecting soon this week
This week,
privately,
I'm gonna
right?
call you tomorrow when I'm at work because I told you I have to resend you before it. I have to resend you something, so I have to send it to
Mhm.
you. And so check it out, and then just kind of skim through and be like, perfect, because it's going up.
I got
Everything's going
you.
up.
Well, I thank you all for tuning in. So let's talk grief with Keisha and Tracy tonight.
All right.
And I hope you all
That
have
part.
been able to receive some part of this message that will help you on your grief journey. And I want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night.